Well, hello and welcome to Family Game Night. I'm Emily with Firefly Toys and Games, and thank you so much for joining me this Saturday evening. We are going to take a look at Battle Sheep by Blue Orange Games. This is one of the new games that we just received in our store a couple of weeks ago, and I have a demo copy, so I'm so ready to show you. Let's battle it out for greener pastures. Alright, so Battle Sheep is a really fun game. This is starting for ages 7 and up. That you are going to be able to gain a stack of sheep and battle it out to try to find greener pastures for your flag. This can be anywhere from 2 to 4 players. I've played it a couple of different ways, and it doesn't really matter how many players you have. It's really, really fun. Alright, so let's look at Battle Sheep. In Battle Sheep, to start the game off with, you're each going to gain a total of 4 pasture pieces for however many players that are playing, and you're going to gain a stack of sheep. They're all the same color. So we've got blue and we have red. So at the beginning of the game to set up, blue and red will take turns and they set up one pasture at a time. The only thing they have to do is at least one side of the green pasture must touch so that it will not be a floating pasture. Otherwise, we can't reach the green pasture. So we've set it up. It is ready to go. And here's the way you play the game. You are trying to gain the most area control because you're trying to find the most green pastures more than your opponent. So, red and blue are both going to battle it out. What you're going to do is you must pick up any number of sheep. You have to have a minimum of 1 in your stack, and you must leave a minimum of 1. So if I wanted to take all of this stack, I can take all the stack minus 1, and then you move it across the board. You must move them in a straight line, and you must continue moving until you reach either an opponent's stack or the end of the row. So for an example, if I was to pick up 4 of my blue sheep, starting with this stack, I can either move up to here and end at this space, or I can move up. Oh, you know what? That is our only option. So here's the other thing about this game. As you move, you cannot have more than 1 stack of multiple sheep in the same pasture. Since this is all one pasture, this is the only move that I can make. The question is, how many sheep do I move forward? So since that's the case, there are a couple of options to move afterwards. So let's go ahead and pick up all but 1. So I'm going to go ahead and move this in 2 stacks. But as long as we leave 1 sheep behind, we can move the entire stack across the board. And we have hit a stop because this is the end of this particular path. Now, we've done that in a legit move because this is a completely different pasture. And we're at a stopping point. So now red's going to go. And this is the name of the game. You just continue moving your sheep across the board. You can move as many as you want. Just remember, you must take at least 1 and you must leave at least 1. So you cannot pick up a sheep that is already currently a stack of 1. Those are permanently there. Alright, so red's going to go ahead and move. Now red does have a couple of options. Red can move either this direction, or red can move upwards in that direction. And red's not going to move the entire stack. We're just going to move, say, about 6 or 7. So we're going to move straight down. Red's hope is to try to block off blue before blue has a chance of being able to block off red. Alright, so now it's blue's turn. Blue only has 1 stack. You can't come down because it's in the same pasture, but now we do have a couple of options. We can either move back, we can come forward up here, or we can go straight across the board. So since we have several options, it might do us pretty good to only move, say, half of the stack. We're going to go ahead and move it straight up, hopefully blocking our opponent from moving their stack out. And that's the other thing you can do. You can manipulate the board and keep someone from moving. Whenever someone does not have a chance to move, they have to forfeit at that point, which means they can't move anymore in the future. You have to move, and if you can't move, that's it for you. So you continue until all the players have done their movements, and when no one else has a movement out there, that's when you end the game. And then you count up how many sheep are on the board in each of the pastures, and whoever has the most wins the game. It's as simple as that. Alright, so red's going to go ahead and go. Now it's blue's turn, and blue's going to react. Now I can't move forward because I've got a stack here already. And I can't move backwards, but I can move over. So let's go ahead and move back over to the original pasture. Red sees what's going on. So we're gonna go ahead and move this stack over. And then blue can move. Ooh, blue can move a lot. So blue can move this stack all the way across the board. And you just continue going. Just make sure that you abide by the pasture restrictions on moving. And try to block your opponents in, or try to put yourself into a prime position so that you have a lot of control on the board. Right, so it's blue's turn because blue started. And blue is trying to block red in. Red sees that. Red can't move now because blue has blocked red. So I also cannot jump over any sheep that are already on the board. So I'm pretty well stuck with that stack because I cannot move any sheep forward. I've got a stack in the same pasture. So that stack is unfortunately out of luck. We're going to go ahead and move this stack up. And blue will go ahead. Blue has put themselves in a position as well because they can't move over here. And they can't move there, so they can only move backwards. So it put them in a spot where they've lost that stack, so they only have this stack available. Red's got a couple moves, so red will come over here. Blue sees what red's doing, so blue is going to try to come up and try to counteract. Oh, this will be a good battle. Let's see what happens. Don't forget, you always have to leave one behind. And that stack is definitely dead. Alright, so that's the last move that red can play. And blue can move here. Since red has no other option, blue can go ahead and move because this is a new pasture over here. And blue can move here because that is a new pasture over there. So now is the end of the game. That was really quick. So what you're going to do is you're going to count the amount of sheep that each people have based in a pasture. So not 4 counting sheep here, but this is 1 space, this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So the number of sheep in the same square doesn't count, but the number of sheep covering the area, so the amount of area that you cover, that's what you need to count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 for blue. You gonna help me remember that? 13 for blue. And then for red, we're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for red. So unfortunately, red did not get those 3 extra moments of being able to place out their sheep. So blue has won the game. And that's how you play Battle Sheep Flock to Greener Pastures. It's a really, really quick setup, a really easy play. As you see, we were able to play, of course, this is me, myself, and I playing. But being able to play with another opponent will also play fairly quickly for those of you who have children that need to keep fairly active. The turns are not going to wait so long. So this is a very interactive type of game when it comes to attention span. So this is a really good one for that. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I know it was really, really quick, but I thoroughly enjoyed teaching you one of our new blue-orange games. I look forward to teaching you some more new games in the next coming weeks. And then we're going to start a family game night classic series where we kind of go back and see some of our older family games that we will enjoy with our families. Maybe we've forgotten about. And so join me next week as we look at some other new games from who knows what company. It might be Blue Orange again, it might be Think Fun, it might be Ravensburger. Join me next Saturday at 5 to check it out. Have a good weekend, guys.